Good morning to you. For Telesur, I'm Reagan Devines in Caracas, Venezuela. Thank you so much for joining us on our morning news show. Our top story takes us to Mexico, where photojournalist Ruben Espinosa has been laid to rest. Now, more information has surfaced in the case. One of the four women who was killed in this latest series of murders, had told a local TV station that if she were killed, that the governor of Veracruz, Javier Duarte, would be the one to blame. Her name is Nadia Vera, and she was an activist in Veracruz. The five victims, including Ruben Espinosa, all died of a gunshot wound to the head. All five showed signs of being tortured and the women sexually abused. Some statistics show that Mexico is the most dangerous country for journalism after Iraq. 103 journalists have been killed in the last 15 years. 25 have reportedly disappeared. The Petrobras scandal continues in Brazil. Police have arrested José Dirceu, a top aide of former President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, in the widening corruption probe into the state oil company. Officials have denied that the scandal involved the former president or the incumbent Dilma Rousseff. Prosecutor Carlos Fernando dos Santos said Dirceu was a chief instigator in the creation of the massive kickback scheme, which is estimated to total at least $2 billion. Dirceu was detained at home and served a 7-year house arrest for his role in a separate political corruption case. Dirceu's lawyer suggested the case is being politicized. And now to Peru, where 2,000 families are living in the same neighborhood among the deceased at an illegal cemetery just outside the capital, Lima. It's been called gruesome by some, but this shanty town houses tens of thousands of people. Some live there, however, most are resting in peace. The residents move among crypts on their way to shops or school, seemingly unfazed. To them, the century-old Santa Rosa Cemetery is home. Authorities have tried to close down the graveyard, but have no idea what to do with the poor people living there.
It's a quiet place. Some people believe the dead pose a problem for us, but that's a lie. I thank the owner of the cemetery because thanks to them I have a place to live.
The ruling National Party in Honduras is trying to stop the call for a referendum, also known as a plebiscite, that would ask citizens if international and independent investigators should be allowed to look at the corruption cases of the past government, which could also be linked to current President Juan Hernandez. Our correspondent Gerardo Torres further explains.
An International Anti-Impunity Commission, or CICI, could be created in Honduras through a plebiscite proposed by former President Manuel Zelaya. The political opposition could back up Zelaya and open an independent investigation in the cases of over $500 million brought from different public offices during the past government of Porfirio Lobo.
After the agreements made at the meeting of the Liberal Party this past weekend, we hope they support the project of plebiscite presented by the Libre Party through former President Manuel Zelaya. We also, as always, expect surprises from the National Congress. We hope that this call by citizens that we have had for the last 11 weekends protesting in the streets for an international anti-impunity commission can have a positive result and can be ordered by the executive power.
According to some of the presented proof, at least $100 million was used in Hernandez's presidential campaign, and according to the United Nations protocol, only the president can ask for the CICI. This is why the plebiscite can be the only way to force the president. The ruling National Party is trying to stop it by arguing that the plebiscite is unconstitutional.
The National Party doesn't want two things. One is to hear the people, and the second is that the CICIH comes to the country. They fear the people and fear that international observers come and investigate them because the National Party knows that they can't buy them off like they do now with the General Prosecutor's Office and the Supreme Court.
If the opposition votes as a united bloc in the National Congress, the National Party won't be able to stop the plebiscite, and it will become a platform in which the outrage movement could show its strength and begin an end to impunity in Honduras. Gerardo Torres, Telesur, Central America.
And now a brief of this morning's other major news stories from across the globe.
Envoys of Ukraine, Russia, separatists, and European security watchdog OSCE failed to agree on a ceasefire for the embattled eastern region of Ukraine. The meeting lasted well into the early hours of today. The standoff is regarding a deal about a prisoner swap or a pullout of more weapons from the front line. Last month alone, according to the separatist rebels, 22 civilians and rebel fighters have been killed. More than 5,500 people have died in Ukraine since the conflict began in April 2014. Most of the victims are civilians. German intelligence reports suggest that death could be 10 times higher in Donetsk and Lugansk.
Unfortunately, we have not reached today any results we would be able to brag about. Nevertheless, the process is continuing. As we have stated before, we would have been ready to stay for talks here for another day, for 2, or for another week, whatever it takes.
Catalan leaders threw down a challenge to Spanish Prime Minister Mariano Rajoy. Despite his rejection, Catalans are pressing ahead with early elections September 27th, portrayed as a proxy for a vote on independence. Catalan President Artur Mas has taken up succession cause in recent years amid a surge in popular support. The vote to elect a parliament in the wealthy northeastern region would take place a year earlier than necessary. Separatist leaders have said in recent weeks that a victory for them in the election would launch a roadmap to Catalan independence within 18 months.
Penso humilment que podem fer del proper 27 de setembre una data.
I humbly think that September 27 will be a historic date. Democracy will start this process. The polls, the ballots, and the citizens' resolution will be the tools. A future of democracy, justice, and freedom is in the horizon. Each and every one of us should assume the responsibility and ownership that a time like this deserves.
At least 12 people were killed and 7 injured when a building collapsed on the outskirts of India's western city of Mumbai. A 50-member team of National Disaster Response Force rushed to the spot for relief and rescue operations. Rescuers pulled out 7 people alive from the debris of a 3-story residential building. Building collapses have been a regular occurrence in India, where many buildings are constructed illegally without following proper practices or executing property safety measures. Rescuers say that there are no more victims in the debris.
We have decided to call off the rescue and search operations. The operations to remove debris will continue.
China provided humanitarian aid to Myanmar's flood-hit regions, where due to the heavy monsoon rains, 47 people have died and more than 210,000 people have been affected. Special family rescue packages were designed to provide flood victims with daily necessities, including rice, oil, salt, drinking water, clothes, and medicine. The Chinese rescue operations will assist 1,500 families in Calais and 20,000 in Sitwe. A wildfire continues to devour drought-parched terrain in Northern California with a remarkable speed. After 6 days, the blaze have scorched 62,000 acres. 13,000 people are affected as the flames are threatening 5,500 homes. 9,000 firefighters are struggling with over 20 fires across the state. Officials are investigating what sparked the Rocky Fire near San Francisco. This conflagration is considered to be the worst.
Serious fire there. To Argentina now, where a whale surfaced in the Puerto Madero marina of Buenos Aires. At the time, experts could not determine whether it was a right whale, a blue whale, or mink. The mammal was in good condition, however, but appeared to be struggling to find its way back to the ocean. A team tried to guide the whale back to the open sea via the Rio de la Plata River. It was a concern for observers, though, because whales are not meant to be in fresh water, as they are likely to get infections. However, some believe the whale still may not survive, as the perspective is that it will simply try to beach itself elsewhere. And we end this newscast with the future. Yep, it's here. What was once only imaginable or even impossible, today seems to be on the verge of becoming reality. Yes, flying cars will be ready in about 8 years. That's according to US-based aviation company Tedafuhia. A flying car has been showcased in a new animation which shows the vehicle leaving a garage, taking off and flying over a city. The car will have a range of 500 miles and a cruising speed of up to 200 miles per hour. It will hold 4 people and will be powered by batteries, rechargeable from its engine or at charging stations. So reminiscent of the Jetsons cartoon, right? Yep. For more on these and other up-to-date, up-to-the-minute stories and reports, please visit our website, telesurtv.net/English. For Telesur English, I'm Regan Devines. Have a safe and productive day.